All right, let's build some work blocks. Now, in this calendar, I'm just going to show you the work part, and in just a minute, we'll pull everything together. So in the example I was giving you before, we were working with an entrepreneur who said, my work schedule is generally from 8 to 6 on weekdays. Okay, cool. So in this example, let's just assume that she needs to drive to work. So she says, 8 to 8:30 is my drive time. And then she's got it in the afternoon from 5 to 6. Okay, so we got a couple blocks there, and now we've got this time between 8:30 and 5:30 where work can happen. Now, let's walk through this and just show some of the things that are consistent for her. So a recurring task that she does on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is an hour's worth of email. Starts her day this way, and for her, let's just assume that works. Now, that may not be everyone. That's just what works for her. And you'll note at the end of the day, she also has in these email blocks. It's email and prep her next day. And she's doing that from 4:30 to 5:30 before she leaves work. Now, again, I really want to remind you this. Just because you're looking at this example, just because you've heard someone do something some way, doesn't mean that it's going to be the perfect way for you. And part of this process is really testing out some things and figuring out what really works the best for your own energy, your own time, and how you manage best the work that you do. So I encourage you to really lean into your own intuition, your own gut, and also what your own data has told you from the worksheet that you've built already. Okay. Now in this case, let's assume she has a team meeting for her. That's on Mondays, and she's got that from 9:30 to 10:30. And then she has a couple of these darker blue blocks that are titled Focused Work Block. Now, what I like to think of for Focused Work Block is this is when I am doing the work that is of my business. So if you are a service provider, let's say you build websites, this might be when you are actually sitting down and building the websites for your clients. Maybe you design logos, and this is when you're sitting down and you're actually building out the graphics for those designs. Maybe if you're in the product world, this is when you're actually ordering product, or you are, let's say you make t-shirts and you're inside your workshop and you're screen printing. You could be doing that then. So I like to think of this is where we're really producing our work, and we do want to have that time on our calendar, of course. Now, in this case, let's just assume we're working our way down Monday here. She wants to eat at 12 o'clock, and that's just a good consistent time for her. So she's mapped that out across her entire week, and then she's immediately followed that with a social media block of 30 minutes. Now, in this case, we don't know if that means she's creating here or she's engaging here, but whatever the case may be, 30 minutes of social media daily, but she has it scheduled. She knows when it occurs, so she's not bouncing in and out of it all day long and letting it distract her. Now, let's move on, and I want to point out a couple of other things. On Tuesday, she has this block for a marketing focus. Now, one of the things that we want to remember when it comes to work, if we are in a state of growing our business, which most of us will be, we absolutely have to have time to focus on sales and marketing. Those are the two things that grow a business. Everything that comes after that is really supporting business we already have. So we must have windows of time that we are dedicated to working on sales and marketing in our calendar. And frankly, I will say this is the area that tends to evaporate very, very quickly from people's calendars. And it happens innocently enough. You're like, oh God, but I need this meeting with so-and-so, or I need a little extra time to work on this project, or I just went down the rabbit hole of social media and wasted a bunch of time. You know what happens. But I'm going to strongly encourage, if not just beat it into you, you gotta have this time, and you need to make it holy, meaning it's sacred. You don't move it, you don't schedule over the top of it, you really keep it so that you can do the work that needs to be done to make sure that your business is going to be around after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You have to invest your time and energy in sales and marketing in order to grow and to sustain a profitable business over time. I just can't say this enough, so hear me loud and clear. Now, in this case, she's got a window here of 90 minutes for marketing focus in the morning on Tuesday. 90 minutes is such a beautiful work block. It lets you really drop into deep work. You can get into a flow state with it and really do good work without being distracted. But then she knows, like, I'm going to take a break. My brain's going to be a little spent, but then I can drop back into it. And so in this case, she has this other block from 10:30 to 12. But also noted in italics, it says, or client meetings if needed. So she may know, like, hey, listen, I'm not always going to be able to get my client meetings in the afternoon, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But I may need a morning block, and this is a morning block that I'd be willing to do that. And if I'm not, I'm working on marketing, and that's great. Now, sales, which we just mentioned, she has on Wednesday. She has this block. It's a long 2-hour block specifically focused on sales, prospecting, doing outreach, following up with people she's reached out to before, etc. Now, take a look at Tuesday through Thursday in the afternoon where it says client meetings and follow-ups. This is one thing that I want you to be very clear about. When are you at your best for meeting with your clients, and when does it make the most sense for you to be focused on external type of stuff, meeting with people, versus internal, doing your work? I want you to make that decision from a place of strength and not by accident. Where most entrepreneurs are finding themselves in a full-blown shiitake show of a calendar is because they are allowing their clients to schedule meetings all over the calendar. And so there's no real uninterrupted time to sit down and do good work. So you never get the focused work block of 2 hours, 3 hours, because you're rushing from one meeting to the next. And because those meetings aren't grouped together in a way that really makes sense for you, your energy is spent. And it really just doesn't work for you. So this example of meeting with clients in the afternoons on Tuesday through Thursday may not work for you or work for your business, but there is a version that does work for you. And I want you to be able to make that decision from a place of strength and a place of intentionality and a place of being proactive. And the thing that I will say, and this is a game changer, is when you're working to schedule a time with a potential client or a potential new client, propose the time. You propose it first. Because chances are, if you've already identified these are the windows when you want to meet, and you say, hey, listen, I'd love to get together with you. How about Tuesday at 1 o'clock? Start from a place of using the work blocks that you want, where you really want to be meeting with people, and get that first. Now, of course, sometimes it's not going to work and you're going to have to schedule it somewhere else, and that's okay. But if you could get 75% of your meetings on times that you actually really want to be meeting with clients, how amazing would that be? How much better would your schedule feel? All right. Now, I'll just point out a couple of other things. Another focused work block window on Thursdays, great. So she's got lots of time for doing focused work. But also, check this out, Fridays, accounting and invoicing. Yeah. And some of you will know you may put this off and you never do it. And I'm going to encourage you to keep these times. Like, if you put it there, do it. Get the work done. You know you need to do it. If you're putting it off, you're just wrecking some other part of your schedule somewhere else, and that's on you. Now, in this case, she's got some other blocks, content creation and scheduling. And then she's using that later part of Fridays for some strategy and goals for next week, which is really setting her up for what she needs to do in the week that follows. So again, this is just one example, but let's look at everything together now. So if we now take a total look at the week, we can see where both personal and professional is all coming together in one calendar. And again, remember, it's a guide. It's not a hard rule, and you don't have to follow it 100%. But if you can make decisions about how you spend your time from a place of true strength, from a place of true understanding about when you are at your best, you will do better work. You will experience greater freedom in your work. You will experience greater joy throughout the course of your day and throughout the course of your week, and you will not feel spent and exhausted because you won't be rushing and racing from one thing to the next. Oh, and hey, by the way, you'll actually get done the work you need to get done because you've proactively planned it on your calendar. Huh? Sounds good, right? All right, let's keep it moving. I'll see you in the next lesson.